1 of my So Rare journey. This is episode 9 of my So Rare journey. Welcome back to my So Rare journey, episode 17. Alright, welcome to episode 25 of my So Rare journey. Alright, welcome back to my So Rare journey. This is episode 32. Right, welcome to my So Rare journey. Welcome to my So Rare journey, episode 68.
Welcome to my So Rare journey, episode 82, episode 100 of my So Rare journey. Never did I ever think when I started this I would be saying that 1,239 days ago I started this series. I'm still here today. I'm still sharing my insights, and some of you are still watching. So thank you so much. It means so much that I can just record videos on football, a game I love, and everything else. People watch, say the nicest things. So thank you so much. I'll make it worth your time by watching this video. There'll be plenty of giveaways, there'll be plenty of insights. But for now, let's get into it. This is probably the hardest decision I've ever had to make on So Rare. Let me explain it to you. In the last episode I explained I bought Bernd Leno to start my Premier League in season 25-26 team. Fantastic start. You know, the other goalkeepers were just over budget. I think this is a good value option to come in at. Alongside him, I signed 1 of 100, a Nori from Man City. Now I know I'm playing a premium for him here, but in my opinion, he's going to be a fantastic scorer. I think he's going to be attacking wing back for Man City. They'll be back to a dominant team in the league. I only see him scoring high. Perfect option. Now I spoke about a mini dilemma of what star card I should go out and buy, and if you watched the video you probably know who I bought because I actually convinced myself during that video, and I'm very happy to announce Bruno Fernandes is in the club. As I said, the more I spoke about it, the more I was like, it is the no-brainer option. Now Fernandes, in his last season, now Man United finished, 15th or 16th? He put up a 65 average. Captain of the club, no midweek football, going to play it every single minute basically. It just makes so much sense. And I can go one better, because not only is he a solid scorer who I think will improve next season because they've got Mbeumo, Cunha, and as of today, Benjamin Sesko. A no-brainer for me, the price. You know, I said I always try and be as frugal with the cash as I can be, and I've come in with the second cheapest buy out of the top 10. I am the second cheapest by £10 to this guy. On top of that, I'm getting more XP than him and a load of the other cards that I've got in early. I've put them in starter teams, making those little edges that you need in this game. So that is fantastic. Now, alongside that, I've made it a different signing. Now, I've gone a different route here. It'll be made very clear why I've done that. But if I go back to my cards, you can see today I signed João Paulinho. Now, I actually spoke about him, I think, in the last episode of potentially getting a move to Spurs. So I bought him for £6 in old season. And then I was looking at the 1 on 100. Why is he selling for £60? I don't know how, in touch with the market you guys has been, but a £60 player is pretty useless. This guy was the second best central defensive mid in the Premier League when he was at Fulham. That's why he ended up at Bayern Munich. Now he's going to be in a better team that's still doing a lot of defending. Thomas Frank, builds hard to beat teams. You're going to have, that central spine, and defensively of Vicario, probably Van der Ven, Romero, Paulinho sitting in front. Made no sense that he's £60 for the 1 on 100, where I'm getting extra collection points. I'm already at 60, bought him today, and I think the market might be agreeing with me, because finishing in 45 minutes time, he's already selling the 2 of 100 for £83. This is what I talk about when, if there's a good deal, don't hang around because more are coming. Just go in and get him. So that's fantastic. That leaves me at the stage where I've got my star players, I've got a little bit of depth, and I've used what I think are some budget buys to not only differentiate my team, but to, help with the spending. We can't just go out and buy the best players. Well, you can, but it's going to be harder to win back your returns. So that's where we're up to. We are currently left with £1,200 to basically spend. Now, the more I think about this, the more it should be spent on a star card, because you can always sort of get your cheaper budget options and you'll forever be missing out on that star card. It's so much harder to trade up to a star card than it isn't. It might sound stupid, it might sound obvious. It is a star card you should be going after, because I only need to fill one more spot. At the end of the day, it's just a forward position. Now, I can use my old season cards, but I don't want to rely on Paulinho as a week in, week out sort of player. I think he'll probably be good, but when I've got that budget to spend, you've got to go out and get one of the stars. And my God, I've been trying. These are just some of the bids I've been putting in. You'll just see I'm consistently in the market and not picking up my card. Now, you would have seen on my spreadsheet there, it's Cole Palmer I want. I look at Cole Palmer last season, an average of 58. Now, in that 58, across the entire last 40 games, there was a run of like 14 games where he did nothing. Now, did he do that because I bought his card? Potentially. But at the end of the day, it's just Chelsea not being a good team. They were not as good as they are now. Now, are we all getting caught up in the Cole Palmer Chelsea hype because they beat PSG? Now, this is what the game's about. It's about opinions. For me, I go down to just base statistics. We all know he's going to be a top performer. You know, he's going to be on the ball. He's going to be crossing. He's going to be taking corners. But I looked at the underlying stats. 15 goals and 8 assists. Compare that to season before. 22 goals and 11 assists for a team that were nowhere near as good as this Chelsea team in terms of how much they can dominate possession, dominate the ball, score goals. And he's going to be at the heart of it. He's going to play every minute pretty much. Now, they do have Champions League football to think about, so of course that plays into it. But the dilemma I get myself into is pricing. So if I go and show you the Cole Palmer prices, these are the range of prices. It hasn't really moved too much, and it all depends on certain players how much they've moved. But the interesting part is that I know I want Palmer. I've been trying to get him. I reckon I've been the second highest bid on 7 of the first 9 cards, and currently there's 10 on the market. So 8 of the first 10 cards I've probably been second highest bidder. And this is sort of, it's part of my, strategy. I don't just go out and spend. I put prudent bids in and what I think is a fair market price, and I wait. Now, it's a dangerous game to play at times because I've been looking at the historic prices of cards, and you actually find some of the top stars get more expensive as we get close to the start of the season, because so many people are like, there's more cards to come, I'll wait for the dip. Sometimes there's a dip, sometimes there's a not. Regardless, more people come to the market late on, they go up in price, particularly for these top talents. The lower cards, not so much. The increase in demand takes it away. So that's fine. We just wait for Palmer. I think their team's fantastic, the depth they've got. Maresca, my favourite part about his team is that he can change the formation and the tactics so well because of the depth to adjust. He can play against a counter-attacking team. He can now play against a team that just sits with a back 4 or back 5. I'm seeing the vision. I think they're a serious title challenger for the Premier League. If they get a goalkeeper, I've seen them linked with Donnarumma. Obviously, we've all seen them linked with Mike Maignan. They get a goalkeeper. They are on that level of Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. Do not let anyone tell you different. Being PSG in that Club World Cup without, with Sanchez, and, I don't think he's a top quality goalkeeper, but even with him, they can do it. And they've gone out and signed someone like Xavi Simons that, if you've watched the channel at all, I think he's ridiculous. I think he slots into the team. I love João Pedro as well. So many options. So do you just get him? Well, I've probably run this simulation in my head what feels like a million times. because there's so many other options you've got to consider. Let's go Saka. This is a perfect example of someone else will run his basic stats. Last season, we know he had an injury. He had a bit of a hamstring problem. He should be back from that. He got 6 goals and 10 assists. In those, he averaged 57. So very similar to Palmer on a very off season, because of the injuries and everything else. When he was fully fit, he was obviously class. So does he improve or get worse? For me, like Palmer, again, should improve. You know, better team. Gyökeres up front rather than Havertz or Marino. Central defensive is more sorted. You know, they probably play Zubimendi there, so Rice can attack, Odegaard can attack. Probably less injuries for Arsenal. Another player should improve, so you can go and get him. Now he's done the opposite to Palmer. He started expensive at 1,200, and he's going down to last sale at 941. And funnily enough, I've been second bid on a lot of these cards as well. A lot of the cheap ones, I'm sort of, I don't need to go out and get them today. It's only one card I really need to finish my sort of team. So if I can get a Saka, £940, very similar to Palmer, what would you do? You know? Well, £200 can get me another option. £250, depending, you know, if Palmer's going up, Saka's going down. We don't know what the next one's going to go to. But the issue with Saka for me is that hamstring injury. Now, injuries happen, people get better. It just really scares me that he was rushed back at the end of last season for the Champions League and everything else, and I think he might still be suffering from it. He already limped off in pre-season. Now I know it's a hamstring, but it didn't look like anything serious. But it's sort of Sorare's one of those games where you make your bed and you lie in it. You try and predict, you can be wrong, but as well as predicting stats, I know you can't really predict injuries, but you need to be aware of them. Is someone constantly injured, like a Reece James? That should play into your thoughts. And I'm getting that hint with Saka. I don't have that with Palmer. So is £200 over a season worth it when you're thinking about someone that could get injured for 6 months? I know anyone can get injured for 6 months. Whatever. Now, let's consider all the options. Mo Salah, absolutely unbelievable. His is doing the inverse of everyone else's. You know, Palmer was static. Saka was dropping in price. Salah's going up in price. And funny enough, if you watched the last video, you know who was second top bidder on this cheap Salah, the 1 of 100s. God, I wish I got it. But basically, good value card. Oh my God. This Monsieur guy has been on all the bidding this last 2 days. He's picked up cards. Anyway, I think he's overpaying. We'll see, but this is the risk when you get in late. So, we're looking at Salah. Fantastic scorer. Is he going to improve or go down? Let's go to the base statistics. This is how I think you should be thinking about it. We know how they're going to play. None of them are really changing position or style. I look at Salah. I look at his huge, I think it was 67 average he had across last season. Yeah, 67 last 40 games. 29 goals, 18 assists. Now, you might disagree with me at home. I don't think he'll put up those sort of numbers this season, despite having a better team. I just think when you have more star players, your Wirtz, Gakpo, I think he's fantastic. Whether they play Ekitike or whether they get Isak, I think the goals will get shared around more. And the risk of just how much has changed. That basic front four is pretty much brand new, because Diaz and Gakpo were always switching in positions. It's like a new front four. It can take time to adjust. When, like I said, you make your bed, you lie in it. You beware of all the situations. Salah's circumstances has changed. He's coming off the back of a Ballon d'Or year. I know he hasn't won it, but like that level of like an outstanding best you can get season. You're aware of the risks. That's not predictable every week. So for me, it's a no. Wirtz, very quickly, new to the league. Last season, 63 average. I could see him being fantastic. I could see him being a little bit underwhelming first season, then being fantastic after. It doesn't matter. He's the most expensive of all of them. You don't take, in my opinion, you don't take the risk on a newcomer to the league at the max price. If he was slightly cheaper, I'd consider him. There is one card that has been driving me insane because it's Palmer who I want, but I think this guy makes more sense. Rodri, or Rodrigo on the game. And it's just a case of value for money because like Saka, he's been dipping in price. Today, 928. Does anyone want to guess who was second top bidder on that 928? Yes, of course, it was me. Now, I sort of let this go because I'd much prefer Palmer, but when I actually saw it sell for 928, I was like, if that was an instant buy, I'd probably buy that now. Now, did he have an ACL? Is there a risk it comes up and he does another one, he's out for the season? Yes. Is it more or less risk than Saka? I'm no expert. For me, Saka doesn't seem fully rested. Rodri had the whole season off, eased into it a bit more. I would be more confident on him. Of course, it's still a risk there, which Palmer doesn't have. Fine. But if you're saving £300, that means I can go and get more depth, which is good and bad, because I've just said you want your star players at the start of the video when you've got the money. But there are a couple of caveats. Now, any of you that know about the hot streaks will know for the first season of the Premier League that actually, for your first attempt at hot streaks in the Premier League in-season competition, they've gone up 5x. Now, from my history, if I'm going to be playing Bruno Fernandes, a star like Rodri or Salah, Rodri or Palmer, and I've got, decent rest of the squad to build, the first two are pretty achievable. I don't want to say easy because it'd be embarrassing if I don't hit them, but they're in that ballpark. Every week I should be getting those sort of points tallies. The third one, I never hit last season. It's difficult to get, but this is where you go the extra mile. So first week, ignore. Second week, we ignore. Third week, if you hit, I think it's 460 points, I'll put it on screen, don't quote me, that is $1,000 first time round, $1,000. And think of the team I could have where Bruno Fernandes goes to Burnley, or plays against Burnley at home, Man City 8 Norrie, Brighton very attacking, Man City will be very attacking, lots of attacking returns I see in that game. I think that's fantastic for 8 Norrie. Chelsea against Fulham, Cole Palmer could be absolutely brilliant. The key thing in these game weeks is not just the hot streaks as well though. You're looking for weeks to target where you're going to be the favourite or you're going to be in that top 1 percentile. And how you do that is who's got the best fixtures of the top teams. Of course, smaller teams do well as well, but let's focus on the top teams. Liverpool, Bournemouth, Man City, Wolves, Tottenham, Burnley, Chelsea, Palace. First week, write-off. It could be anyone's, whatever. Second week, Arsenal, Leeds. That is the key fixture. Liverpool, tough, United away. Everyone's got a chance, but you'd put your money on Arsenal stacks or an Arsenal-dominated team. Right. Third week, which is my key week, Liverpool play Arsenal. So the most expensive cards on the game are playing each other, which naturally makes them harder to get, your explosive 80 plus scores. But my players, as I explained, really good fixtures. Now I know some of you might be screaming at the TV or wherever you watch this. Leno plays Palmer. Your goalkeeper plays your forward. That's awful. But I thought of the solution already. I've honestly thought about this far too much. But if you go to Essence, you go to my rare Essence, I've got 5, it's 1,000 Essence to draw a card. I get 5 goes. The rules are that the draw odds have a 75% chance of being standard, and a 25% chance of being a tier 2 plus. Now, the tier 2 breaks up in stars, specials, doesn't really matter. 25% chance minimum of a tier 2 plus. That's 1 in 4. I'm going to get 5 chances to draw. And when I draw, because I've been accruing these spins from all my second place bids, because I got the loyalty pack from being a long-term sorare user, I've currently got 2 keep the 5 best cards, 2 reveal the leagues, and 2 reveal the nationalities. So by the time we get to this 3rd week, because you are able to get Premier League cards after the first game week is locked. So on the 15th of August, I think it's 4 p.m. Central, so probably 5 p.m. London time, you can start drawing your cards. So if I've got, statistically a good chance of getting a tier 2 plus and being able to identify who it is, that gives me more depth for the final, for the next 2 weeks. I could maybe trade that into a goalkeeper. So you should be leaning to Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer enables this. You'd rather have, Palmer against Fulham in your key week than Rodri away to Brighton, in theory. So go out and get Palmer. But every being of me is saying Rodri links up better with 8 Norrie, because they're going to correlate in scores most likely, when Man City have good fixtures. So for the long term of it, he's probably a better option. And I've got the 1 of 100 8 Norrie, so my Man City collection will be getting a bonus. I'll be getting bonus XP as well. There is no right answer. There probably is. Well, there's definitely a right answer. It's just in the future I'll know. I don't know it now. So tell me in the comments, what would you do? Because you might find out now, you might find out in the next episode. Depends how the bidding goes. But who would you be picking? Rodri, Palmer, someone else? I cannot decide if I want, Rodri and 200 to 300 pounds, or Palmer, the guy I actually want, who I, would be more keen supporting. I really like Palmer as a player. They're signing Xavi Simons. Everything is just so confusing. And I can go one step better, because this Palmer card that's actually ending in 6 hours, I can probably guess this guy's max bid, because he was second top bid on the one that just lost. I was 3rd in that case. So now, a couple of options. Do I let him get a cheap option? I don't see any other people coming in for it, but I didn't see that for the last one and someone came in late. His last bid was 1175. So do I just go above that? Claim Palmer, get this done with? Do I leave it so he gets a cheap one? And historically, people don't like to pay over the cost of the last one. Or do I just bid one more, expect to be outbid? He's got his card, he's paid a bit more, and see where we go. We'll find out soon.
Do I have to do this?
Come on, they'll love it.
Why is it so cold in here?
He's back, baby! The stress is finally over. You've got to get the card you want, especially for £1,072. Why do I say that? Because if you go to his sales, you will see that is the cheapest Cole Palmer that has sold. Look, I think it's a great deal. I am supporting the boy this season. I've got him in old season. I've got him in new season. It just makes sense. Along with that, we have got 2 spins, and I think one of them is going to be the golden wheel. So we'll do a couple of these, and there's a little few other things I just want to touch on. Not a miss. Oh, a miss. Oh no, it's not the golden spin. This is a golden spin. Missing on the golden spin would be disastrous. But let's see. Give us something. Give us a clue. That's basically a miss. Limited essence I don't care about. But now, when you look at the team, that is ready for next season. We do have about £150 spare. One thing I will touch on that I saw today, if you cannot afford a Cole Palmer, go and get yourself Saka. Again, he's dropped in price, £860. But now it is giveaway time for you guys at home. Thank you for supporting. We'll start off with a Cody Gakpo. We got him for £61 in auction. Yeah, I just think this guy will be fantastic next season. To get him, all you need to do, like the video and comment your sorare name. You could drop a full comment and add your sorare name at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. He is the star prize for one of you for watching the videos and commenting. I really, really appreciate that. The fastest finger, the first comment, is gonna get a Zion Fleming. Now, why Zion Fleming? Because one of the first comments on my recent My Sorare Journey videos was from the man himself, Roy Livy. I think the only guest to ever feature in My Sorare Journey, except for, of course, Rosie, who you just saw. So we picked him up for about £4. Who knows what he'll do in the Premier League, but it's a little throwback for those that have watched a few journeys. Jordan Henderson will be part of a load of giveaways on my Discord. The link will be in the description. I've got a few people helping me out with competitions all season long. We're gonna get a wall of fame going again. We'll draw people every month to win prizes. Pick this guy up for about £5. So a nice pickup, but there should be plenty more to come from that for the active Discord members. If you are late to the party, you can get a absolute fantastic sorare asset in the form of Lewis Hall. We picked him up for £17. This guy's going to be given away on my Twitter, so make sure to follow me on there. I'll probably link that in the description as well. Finally then, once the greatest sorare asset of all time, Oliver Boscagley, an absolutely electric defender. Now who knows what he'll do at Brighton. Now to win him, this is going to be a bit different. Over 100 episodes, over 1,000 days of free content. Not going to start charging for it, but I am going to set up a Patreon. So when that's set up, when I get, let's say, 5 subscribers or followers, whatever you call them, we'll give away Boscagley to one of those 5 people or however many we have at the time. It will just help with the running costs, you know, helping with thumbnails, editing. I've also got 2 YouTube channels, so go and subscribe to Simply Alex Football if you want more educational, broad football content, or stay here if you just want the sorare stuff. But besides that, there is actually one final point before you all click off. We are back, baby, in a cash competition contender. Kawasaki Frontale mixed with Samuel Lino from, I got it wrong last time, is it Fluminense or Flamengo? I'm pretty sure Flamengo. That's who I'm going to say they play for. You can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. It will only do good for my comments. But this week is big because they've boosted the streaks. 275 points and I'd get 20 quid. If this team doesn't get 275 quid, I'll probably do another giveaway in the next episode. Subscribe for more. I doubt we hit 200, but I doubted we hit 100. As always, thank you so much and all the best to you. Cheers.